It's Monday, September 19th, 2022. I was sitting here. We're laying on the floor watching the nightly news to see what I missed for the day. Today was the day that I went back to one of the local hospitals. Um, I've just been meditating on and thinking on the treatment, the care, my run-in with the person in charge of the IHS building, or at least that's what's represented. I was in a FH today. Um, it seems to be like a different health system. I don't know if it's a different drug regime. Is it called a drug cartel? I mean, like, these aren't like street drugs necessarily. These are supposedly the good guys in the hospital that get degrees and then are supposed to work their magic in some fashion of integrated whatever. So, I'm thinking of chemistry that I've heard. And then I'm thinking in a larger security, like of multi nations and not of with one leader, um, congregating on the same territory. I'm like, groundwater tables become an issue. How they regulate the salts or the calcium deposits, how it filtrates into or leaches into the water system, and then the treatment plant of water. And then if they bus in the wrong corps of Army engineers and chemical engineered experts, that spells like almost certain disaster and death for the unbeknownst, like grandsired. Like, I'm watching also as one of the ancestors is laid to rest, and I'm I'm watching it through many angles of appreciation for someone I've never met and seeing just how much others have. Then basing myself in reality here and just how my sons and I feel very left out and neglected. Um, Sharing at some arm's length, a grandsire exists before um, whatever came into the conversation. So I'm balancing that act out at the moment based on other local events that are going on and knowing the seriousness of the help for which I seek and need. Um, and not having much else to do but just document what's the universal signs they're throwing me. So here we are. Not my cup of tea. This is more like Brady Bunch and like the man one tier up from wherever I am in the imperialistic family, sort of, kind of, but not really. Um, since they joined a circus, and I never got the opportunity to join a circus. So I just am a referee on a different whatever. But there's a thread of common reality and decency that is told from different levels and stories. Important they are. So anyhow, apparently, I thought it was Sunday football. I thought like Sunday, my kids, like they missed part of the game. Like they watched part of the games on Sunday and then they had to be returned to me. But I remember them saying like they didn't, I don't know, whatever. But I didn't know Monday night has football too. Apparently it does. So, today being Monday, September 19th, 2022, just find it interesting that the market makers using a Gregorian calendar or a Jason Bourne calendar or whatever. I mean, at the moment, the holiday schedule seems to be not grandsiring in my favor, although I do have to say, I got new flags. Someone took the time to adorn my village with brand new crisp flags. And I got two additions on the one side flagpole. So I greatly appreciate whoever put the time and effort in there. It went noticed, and I did make mention of it in gathering at the table. Um, so tonight, on this side of Jason Bourne calendar with a DJ, MJ, I'm sorry, DJ, AM, FM, and then MJ. There's a scheduling coinky dink, let's call it, or coincidence. It says the Vikings and the Eagles. Vikings at Eagles. You mean the Vikings? And then the Titans are at Bills. And this one has a T, which I've never really seen that before. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Now let's go to other news, and it goes from the funeral procession into where they'll be traveling and what's going on locally at UN level in New York. They make mention of it. Just, I, whatever, in Universal Program Timing and Messaging Board. During this announcement that they made, which was Eyewitness News at 5 on 9/19, they also have a local New York City NYPD spokesperson that's speaking in my area. There's a doppelganger family member of his that checked in on me today when I was at the pharmacy this second time. I don't normally give my personal medical history out to whatever, but when this person showed up behind me in line and called my name out, I turned around and I was like, that's a sign. So I told him the actual story to confirm in person to a real live representative of New York City that looks like somebody's version of cohesiveness for whatever. And I got 4 kids close enough on the field. So there is, so I confirmed for him that I was at the hospital. I had the IV, then I came back and there was a problem with the hospital and the pharmacy with the way that it was written out. So I had to come back and they were just fixing it for me. I didn't get into the whole story. I didn't get into the acronyms. I didn't get into anything. I just told him my personal, like it really happened. And I don't know if that's like in a Surrey way of King's Post Trust, way of building a wooden bridge locally, like back in the Danish or the Dutch wood bridge of American history kind of a way. It happened. So, I don't know how, like, whatever, like, is that like a wink, wink? No, it really happened. And whatever. In
And this year's
the magic of New York City and my timing mechanics. So the UN, it says tomorrow is at risk, and this is what.
UN week may have something extra gridlock and extra traffic for two reasons. First, the United Nations General Assembly returns with nearly double the diplomats that attended in person last year. Many world leaders addressed the General Assembly virtually for the past 2 years.
Again, I'm not sure if, like, is this the Titans and the Bills? Because at the accounting office and what's what with the grandsires on the field and how their treatment is, and some of the ongoing security issues and threats, um, and how's it being addressed or handled. Well, I wasn't invited due to lack of, I don't know, hand holding through this journey, um, to somewhere else to pay my respects. I also was not invited to the UN. I'm still in a set of rooms and documenting for my portion of grandsire appearance on this earth within the same life frames as others, and some very apparent issues that are of great concern.
Years, but now they're being required to address the body in person. And second, unlike previous years, when world leaders slowly streamed in over the weekend, the city is expecting a flood of diplomats to start arriving today all at once following the Queen's funeral.
More heads of state to protect, more staffing needed, right? More disruption, more motorcades moving around than we had last year, than we had the year before. This is the largest UN event we've had in a number of years.
And with that comes street closures. First Avenue between 42nd and 48th Streets, and 44th to 46th Streets between 1st and 2nd Avenues. The FDR will also be
I just find this in the storyboard so interesting. They put up there the GR. It's not ER. On the board in New York, it says GR. I come from a G under, Gunder, just saying. And then it has an ID, which the Canadians also gave to me. Anthony, do you really? And then it says lock alert.
Subject to intermittent, unplanned closures, while other streets nearby will have fewer traffic lanes than usual. Expect the worst between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
There will be hundreds of motorcades moving around the city, sometimes simultaneously. There will be security checkpoints. There will be street closures, detours, and other driving restrictions, including unannounced traffic freezes.
President Biden, meanwhile, arrives in this.
So that's. There was the NFL, which uses the calendar system, and there's a formula that they use for, and there's supposed to be some royalty or some kind of appreciation factor for having a formula to calculate out how they schedule the players, the games, and I don't know, personal whatever. Like they put the whole season, and it usually happens ahead of, like, is that the holiday schedule they're tapping into? And if so, why are the grandsires great grandchildren or the great grandsires from the previous that share that ancestry? Why are we not all able to plan into making sure that we're not in the middle of being taken advantage of or hurt within a life frame? I mean, again, how does one work within this set of circumstances if the holiday schedule's been stolen from us and we don't have access to it, but yet there's frivolous things like NFL, MLS, baseball, which is MLB, a whole lot of other things that seem to use some system as a gift to make circus and to make money, while the rest of us are like in gridlock, locked out, and in some serious harm's way at times, and yet are what, told to wait? I mean, I own a constellation for certain in positions in the sun and the solar system and how human anatomy works within time and space. I mean, I've passed the test of time already. I already know how to quantify it, how to explain it in English. I don't quite understand why that's not a. I don't even know. I don't even have words for it. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.